So hello everybody. Once again, welcome to this semester's Caltrans Department of Transportation CT Career Connections. Together, we're engineering the future of California. And with that, my name is Russell. I am a recruitment analyst here at California Department of Transportation. I've been with Caltrans for almost 2.5 years, and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in business administration from Cal State University Stanislaus. My partner Megan will go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Aziz. I am also a recruitment analyst with the California Department of Transportation. I graduated from Sacramento State in 2020 with a degree in anthropology. And I have been with Caltrans with 1 year. I just celebrated my 1 year in March.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you having your 1 year celebration that we did in the office. Next, you guys, we have our SME or subject matter expert. Her name is Janice Benton. Janice, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know your current classification, your unit, how long you've been with Caltrans, and kind of where you graduated.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Nice to see lots of names out there. My name is Janice Benton. I'm currently the Deputy Director over our Maintenance, Operations, and Safety Programs. I've been with the department for about 31 years now. I graduated from UC Davis, so I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. I've got my license in civil engineering and been an engineer for the department for all of those years. And I've had the opportunity to work in other programs, not just maintenance, operations, and safety. I was also working in our project delivery program for several years. Got to work in design that hit various functions like hydraulics, mechanical, electrical, structures, wastewater, and others. So really, I've enjoyed my career here, and that's where I've been.
Cool. So on our agenda today, we're going to talk a little bit about our department, some small things, kind of like who we are, what we do, the opportunities we offer in transportation engineering as well. And then Janice is going to give us a little bit of insight on her position, kind of how she got started with Caltrans, and then some of the cool projects that she's worked on or is currently working on, those things like that. And then we'll finally get into some details regarding our benefits, a big factor for us, which is the transportation engineering positions and the rotation programs and how to apply. And then we'll finish up with a Q&A session at the end of it. Please wait for the Q&A session to begin to ask any of your questions. And we'll have you guys drop those questions inside the chat box, and Megan will kind of take a look throughout it. So with that being said, we're going to do a little video real quick on who we are and what our department's all about.
Ready to embark on a career that combines technology, innovation, and a positive impact on the environment and community? Look no further than Caltrans, the California Department of Transportation. Join us as we explore some of the state-of-the-art technologies that we are incorporating into our projects to engineer the future of transportation. Safety is our top priority. We believe that using drones is a game changer in ensuring safer roads for everyone. Surveying hazardous areas, inspecting bridges and tunnels, and assessing road conditions without putting workers at unnecessary risk is a great advantage. Our acquisition of state-of-the-art UAS unmanned aircraft system technology allows us to be in multiple places at once, access high-risk areas safely, and fly instantly from anywhere. We are one of the first departments of transportation in the nation to utilize this equipment. With over 100 trained drone pilots statewide, we are revolutionizing the way we utilize technology, allowing us to make informed decisions that lead to improved safety measures and faster response times. Piloting the use of augmented reality helps us to visualize a new roadway, structure, utility, or feature in the actual dimensional space upon which it will be built. We're work zone ready with well-equipped lighting on hard hats, ensuring the visibility of our field workers is not compromised and giving us the ability to assess work sites at all hours of the day. We aim to provide a safe and reliable transportation network that serves all people and respects the environment while honoring our values of engagement, equity, innovation, integrity, and pride. At Caltrans, your career options are limitless. We provide comprehensive job rotation programs, mentorship opportunities, and a supportive work environment that encourages personal and professional growth. Whether you're an aspiring engineer, a tech enthusiast, or a community-driven individual, Caltrans has a perfect path to start your career. Do yourself a favor. Come and join us. You would make us better. Ready to
So that's just a quick little video that we've kind of put together. You can see we do use quite a bit of new technology about it. And as they were saying in the video, that our opportunities are statewide. So working with Caltrans allows for a diverse amount of opportunities up and down the state of California, whether you prefer working in a mountainous terrain like Tahoe or Yosemite, or the redwood rainforest, coastlines up and down towards Big Sur, or in some cases from your own home, because we do offer hybrid telework opportunities as well. We've got some type of opportunity for you to be able to work with us at the state. And this map right here is showing you how we're split up into 12 different districts, starting at the Oregon border and stretching all the way down to where Mexico begins. In the chat box, go ahead and throw in there kind of which district you guys are thinking about joining, or which district you're interested in. What are you seeing in there, Megs?
Right, I'm seeing lots of variety. 4, 10. I see a couple 11s, couple 11s and 12s, and lots of anywhere.
I saw an HQ.
Yeah, there's an HQ. That's where Russell and I are at. Lots of coastal is what I'm seeing. Seems to be a trend.
Coastal, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Seems to be a trend. Janice, have you worked in various districts at all?
I have. So I've gotten the opportunity to work in our District 3 area, which is basically Sacramento, a little bit area north. And that was a great opportunity to kind of explore the various geographic areas, foothills in that area. I also got to do a lot of work in District 8 down in San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Really enjoyed that as well. Just that one's got a lot of variety in it. It's a huge area, and it's got mountains, snow, challenges with what we design and build, but it's also got a lot of the desert aspect of it as well. So really a great variety of type of work that can be done in that district.
Yeah, living in California, you've got endless opportunities of different landscapes. We've got the desert, we got the snow, mountains, ocean, lakes. Yeah. So we've got
it within like hours away, right? So we were just in Oakland, in the Bay Area, and then Megan was on the team that we sent up to Eureka like the next day. So she went from big city environment to a coastal woodsier environment within 3 hours.
Yeah.
All right, so a little bit about us, and so what's our why? Our department's mission is to provide a safe and reliable transportation network that serves all people and respects the environment. And our vision is a brighter future for all through a world-class transportation network. Some of our goals include leading climate action, which we've been addressing by advancing complete streets and zero emissions vehicles, piloting new materials and renewable fuels, and investigating nature-based solutions along with a multitude of other strategies. We also aim to advance equity and livability in all communities by adopting new approaches focused on collaborative community and partner engagement, measuring impacts on public health and community vibrancy, and prioritizing and investing in historically harmed segmented communities. Now I'd like to turn this over to Janice. and she's going to discuss some of her time here at Caltrans. Janice, you ready to answer a couple questions?
Certainly.
All right. So first one to kick off for you. What made you choose Caltrans?
Oh, great question. So, while I was going to UC Davis, I was also, I was working as a student assistant for another state department, California Office of Emergency Services, or Cal OES. And that really exposed me to an opportunity to work with other engineers that had good field experience. And so in that position, I would go out with the team and we would do assessments of facilities and structures after a natural disaster, like an earthquake or a flood or whatever happened to, happen.
Now, quick question, Janice, don't mean to kind of cut you off there, but like for those who aren't familiar, student assistant positions.
Oh.
How would you, so for us at Caltrans, that's the closest thing you're going to get to an internship with us, right? With being a student assistant position. Did you like that? How did you go about it? Was it pushing paper, making copies?
Yeah. No, great question. Great question, Russell. So I would highly recommend everybody that's going to college or any school to look into a student assistant position, whether it's with Caltrans or other state departments, but really at Caltrans. So I wasn't a student assistant with Caltrans, but I was a student assistant for that other state department. And it really, you get to go in and do actual work that other engineers are working on. You get to learn from them. You get to see what they're doing. You're not just, filing papers or, running around doing things for them. You actually get to see how things are done. It really relates back to the practical aspect of everything we learn. So in college, you learn a lot of the theory and you learn how to design things. And then when you're as a student assistant, you really get to see that that application in real world designing things. Yep.
And that helped you choose Caltrans, like you were saying, right?
Yep. And so exactly. So as I learned in that, I got to work with those engineers, and I worked for them for a few years, and that it got me to see that practical application of what I was learning in school, the expertise from those folks that had been out in the field. But it also got me really interested in wanting to not only work for public service, but also work with Caltrans, because I would be talking to them. That group didn't design things. They just did assessments. They would go out, assess the damage, come up with an estimate on repairs, and then, follow that through. But the engineers I was working on, they really encouraged me to say, hey, you need to go look at Caltrans. They actually design things. They actually build things. They don't just plan and hand work over to others. So that really got me excited about wanting to work for Caltrans, was just knowing that, the actual, work that's taking place, the engineering work, you're using your expertise and, all that knowledge you learned, you get to use it by working at Caltrans.
Cool.
So that kind of got me wanting to work at Caltrans.
So now we kind of got to the point where you like wanting to work with us, right? So wanting to make that jump over to Caltrans, and you said you've been with us for 31 years, you said, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Like, across those 31 years, what's been your experience? What made you want to stay with us? Like, because when you're in the state, you can jump to any other state department that you could have wanted to jump to. And with California being, what is the fourth largest economy in the world, you could have jumped to any state agency. What made you stay with us? What ultimately made that decision to spend 31 years with Caltrans?
Yeah, so the excitement of doing actual engineering work got me into Caltrans, got me wanting to work for Caltrans. But once I got hired onto Caltrans, it was all about the variety of work that I could experience. So when you work for Caltrans, you can do just about any type of engineering. Everybody understands, the civil engineering and the designing and construction side. But we also have a lot of mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and then under the field of design, we've got a lot of the hydraulics, wastewater, water quality, all of those aspects of, the things that we learn in college. all of that is there's opportunities in Caltrans across the state. So it's that variety of working. Like I mentioned earlier, I worked in our District 3 office, out of the Sacramento County and Yuba County and Butte County area. I got to go down and work in our San Bernardino office, which was in District 8, covered a variety of locations and aspects and so forth. So it's that variety that keeps me, interested in staying with Caltrans. The other thing is, I'm really excited about where the department goes. Mentioned earlier about, our mission and our values and our goals and our, safety and equity and climate action, being at the forefront, being able to take, use that information and make good decisions and design decisions on our projects, incorporate some of those strategies in our projects. How do we make our infrastructure sustainable? How do we design the pavement, or how do we design the structure so it's got a really long life, so we don't have to keep going back and using more resources to maintain it or rebuild it later. So a lot of those aspects kind of, keep me excited about working with Caltrans. It's really just the variety of work that keeps you excited.
Megan and I, we visited the METS lab in over here in headquarters recently, and we saw certain things there that we never thought would go into it. Like they're trying to figure out a way to use recycled water bottles to replace the stones inside of the pavement that we would be driving on for the roadways. To possibly think that some of our freeways could consist of materials from recycled water bottles, it is pretty crazy. And like I was holding those pellets in my hand, so it's kind of nuts about the innovation that you guys put on that end.
Yep, and trying to figure out, how much and where do we use the recycled tires to put in our pavement. I mean, that's a big push. We've got a lot of that. Also, reusing the materials we pull up when we do when we replace a roadway, we got to do something with that material that we're taking out. And so trying to figure out what can we do with that material, recycle it, reuse it, and all that. So all of those good strategies that we really get excited about.
Cool. So what's been the most satisfying aspect of working for Caltrans for you?
Yeah, one thing is really the teamwork. So, I came on board and didn't know anybody in the department, didn't know who I was working with, but really it's that opportunity to get to know your workmates that have the same ideas and same thoughts on, hey, let's do it this way, or it's that collaboration with coming up with really good innovative ideas is really something that excites me and gets me excited. As far as projects, I worked on many projects across the state. One I do remember, I got to go down to, again, that District 8 location. I got to go to Palm Springs because we are working on rebuilding or rehabbing a project, and we had to build some retaining walls because there's a lot of floods and, washouts going out there. So we were trying to figure out what do we do with the roadway so we don't have to keep going back and rebuilding it every time there's a heavy storm. So it was really that opportunity to come up with innovative ideas on how do we design this roadway so it doesn't keep getting washed out. So we did retaining walls. We built, a lot of the drainage structures, had to really beef those up and everything. And it was really the people I got to work with on those projects. You get to go out in the field, you walk the roadway, you survey the area, not survey in terms of land surveying, but, assess the roadway. And whether it's, using the drones or you just get out there on the field, get on the ground and, observe what's going on out there and then come back with that information and design your facility. It's, it's really fulfilling from the beginning to the end and then watching it through construction.
Cool. So I did see in the chat that we do have quite a few new grads in this session. What would you like to share with the new grads looking for a career with Caltrans? Like any insight you would want to share, any tips, stuff like that. What would you want to share with them?
Yeah. So one is no matter what your engineering specialty field is, there is an opportunity in Caltrans to use it. I mentioned a lot of them already, but it's really that variety of type of engineering that we have, and you get to work in the field, but you don't have to work in the field. But you get to go out and touch the dirt, hit the ground. That you get to design and so forth. And we don't only do design and construction of the network. We also maintain. So we do a lot of the inspections of our bridges, inspections of our roadways. That's kind of the exciting stuff as well, kind of you saw in that video, whether it's using a drone or getting in a boat and looking at the structure from a boat, looking above and so forth. There's all kinds of activities that take place. It's that variety. Plus the other thing is, no matter where you want to work in the state, there is a Caltrans job in that area because we cover the entire state. So it's, whether you like the coast or the mountains or the valleys, there's always, there's positions and opportunities across the department.
One thing I just thought about right now, and I wanted to kind of ask you, while you've been working with Caltrans, have you ever had an opportunity to go help or assist on a major project? And my example for this is I was at a recruitment event recently, and as we all heard, what happened in Hawaii, in Lahaina and Maui, that devastating fire. I personally did not know this until I met with an engineer of ours in District 3 that was sent out there to help assess the situation after the fires. And he was a part of a team that went out there and kind of helped try to figure things out and help them try to get back on their feet. Which that strikes really big to me because my family's from Hawaii. I actually have family from that area. Were you ever sent out on anything like that, or did an opportunity like that ever come across your table?
Yeah, no, it's so funny because that big connection, as I was a student assistant with Cal OES, I got to do that. So not as a Caltrans employee, but as them. But when I was out there, we would see other Caltrans employees come out and help.
And OES is Office
of
Emergency Services, right?
Yeah. So, another state department is the Office of Emergency Services. And so, we partner with them. So now that I'm over our maintenance program, if there's a disaster, whether it's in California or across the country, they'll ask Caltrans engineers to go help them, like you said, Russell, assess the damage, see what we can do to help in terms of, designing the infrastructure, backfilling, whatever got damaged or destroyed, coming in and help that. So I personally have not done that work from Caltrans, but I work with the program that they pull from to get that work. I also worked in structure design, and a lot of times, California is at the forefront when it comes to earthquake engineering. Because we have, a lot of earthquakes or we have the potential of a lot of earthquakes in California. So our structure design group is ahead of all the other states. In fact, nationally, they look at California for the earthquake engineering. And so if there was an earthquake in, another state like Oklahoma, this was several years ago, we sent a lot of our earthquake engineering group over there to help them kind of assess their structures and kind of give them feedback on some design strategies.
Oh, thank you so much for giving us all that insight today. And then, we really appreciate it.
Certainly.
So we're going to move on real quick now and talk about a couple of the benefits that our department has to offer. So state of California offers some really, really good medical, dental, vision, and retirement benefits. We've got an amazing work-life balance, and I can very much vouch for that one. For our employees, along with a multitude of career development opportunities, such as mentorships and leaderships, similar to what Janice was talking about. We aim to create leaders and provide employees with necessary knowledge to carry out their work. Megan's going to be dropping a couple of things inside the chat for you guys to take a look at and kind of see that pertains to the list of things that are shown in this slide. And the state also offers student loan forgiveness through the U.S. Department of Education. So for more information on that and eligibility requirements, Megan will also drop a link in the chat box for that one as well. This next slide is a pretty big one for us and what kind of makes Caltrans a little bit special, and it's called the rotation program. So all new engineers are rotated through project delivery by working in construction and design units with the option of one elective units listed on this slide. And those elective units are environmental, geotechnical, maintenance, materials and testing, project management, rails, mass transportation, etc. Please note that availability for some of these electives do depend on the district that you're going to be working in. So, Janice, did you ever partake in the rotation program?
I did. So I got that opportunity to, when I first came on board, I came a little bit different into the department. I transferred from another state department. So I wasn't hired directly into either a design or construction position.
Okay.
But soon after I was hired, I got to rotate through those programs. So that's really where I got that opportunity to kind of see all the variety of work that Caltrans does. That was one of the other reason why I really wanted to come into Caltrans, that opportunity to try different things, see what other functional units or what other activities, what does it mean to go into geotechnical or even maintenance. I mean, we have a lot of engineers in our maintenance program because we're coming up with maintenance strategies and solutions. We do a lot more than just with the field maintenance you see out there. We're doing a lot of design work in our maintenance group and hydraulic design and so forth. So rotating through the program really, opened my eyes to all the opportunities that Caltrans has in the engineering field.
How long again was the rotation program? It's was it like 20?
It's a 2-year program.
Yeah, 24 months, right?
Yeah, 2 years. You spend, I think it's 6 months in construction, 6 months in design, and then the remaining other 2 assignments is, it can be a combination of any of these programs. And some people do more than 2 years. It's just the minimum is 2 years, but you can do more than 2 years,
Okay.
As you work through the process with your district and your supervisors and so forth.
What did you pick for your electives?
I went through traffic safety, and I also went, at the time it was our planning program. So
Okay.
again, people don't think there's a lot of engineering and transportation planning, but we do work on, project development documents and so forth on the engineering side in planning.
Okay, cool. So a big question for a lot of people are the transportation engineer classifications and kind of how you can move about within it and what levels. So here we kind of have a small little breakdown about our standard transportation engineer class. Range A is considered to be entry level. Minimum qualifications being a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from an ABET accredited college. Or for those whose degree is not in civil engineering, an EIT or engineering training will be accepted as well. Alternatively, we have some in-house written hurdle examinations. And then for more information, Megan's going to go ahead and drop some info for you guys in the chat box on that. As you can see with the breakdown, if you move up to range B with a couple more years of experience, increase in pay. Range C, you move up again, a more increase in pay. Then it gets real fancy right when you get to range D, because range D requires a PE or professional engineer license. And if you're a current transportation engineer within our department, we actually assist you and cover the cost of the licensing. So Caltrans is about the career development, and we're going to do what we can to make sure that you can get up to that range D as possible. Janice, what did you go about getting your PE? Did we pay for it?
Yeah, I was hired as a range A transportation engineer. In preparation to take the professional engineer's license, I got to work through the different functional groups to get my experience, which qualified me to take the professional engineer's license. And so, the department really helped. They provide classes that you can go to help you prepare for the license. It also includes the surveyor and the structural components of the exam. There's different courses that you can take, and they're after hours courses. And it's really focused on the exam itself. So they really help us prepare ourselves for the exam, for the specialty, and for the I don't even know what the latest version is, but when I did it, it was an 8-hour engineer plus the 4-hour survey and the 4-hour structural. So they helped me prepare for that. They actually, reimbursed me for those courses. And then once I got my license, they also reimbursed me for the cost to take the exam. So the department really does support the engineering aspect in helping everybody get to that professional engineer.
The PE for range D.
Yep.
Yeah, and then obviously from there it doesn't just stop. I mean, you've got promotional levels on top of that, right? I believe it goes up to a senior and a supervising engineer after that, correct?
Yep, and there's actually a principal level as well
Principal level, right?
as well. Yeah.
So with that being said on there, a lot of questions that people might ask is like, how do I apply? Applying to the state is different. It's not just like your normal application to private sector. The only way to apply to Caltrans or any other state agency is through the CalCareers website. So creating that account right there where it says calcareers.ca.gov, there's a 3-step process that helps you apply. You create an account, take the transportation engineer civil online examination if you meet the minimum qualifications as we discussed earlier, and then you start applying for jobs. We also have on top of that calcareers.ca.gov page a guide set up at the top. The top tab is titled Get a State Job. Now, to make things a little bit easier for you guys as well, we kind of created a brand new website that we kicked off this week. We call it the Caltrans Career Compass. Besides some valuable information with text that you guys can read, there's also some guides. There's going to be some videos coming up and certain things like that. And Megan's going to actually drop that in the chat. So with that being said, we're getting ready to close out. I'm going to go ahead and start up with the Q&A session. So that way anybody that has any questions can go ahead and ask us. Everyone that registered today can also join us for some interview tips that we're possibly going to host later on. If you guys are interested in that, go ahead and just drop it in the chat box, and we're going to capture the question that you guys might have. If we don't get to it today, we'll kind of send out a generalized email so that way you guys don't feel like your questions have been left out. With that, go ahead, Megan, and let's start up. What questions are you seeing in that chat box?
There's a lot coming in. 1 second. Let me just pick a few. I think good one. What are some things you wish you knew as a student that you now know after having real world experience in the field? I think that one's for you, Janet.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I think if I would have known more as a student, just understanding more of what the department, the broad aspect of what the department provides, I think that might have helped me, because I went in and I kind of just stayed with where I was hired. But most of the programs hire student assistants, so you can be hired in design or construction or traffic, or other programs. So when you get on board, ask. Everybody who's hiring engineers is there to help people get to that next level and get a permanent position. So don't be afraid to ask whoever you're working with or supervised by. Ask them what other kinds of work are available as student assistants. Not that you're want to come in and move around, but just kind of understand that breadth of opportunities across the department.
Absolutely. Thank you. Another good one.
Oh, you know what? Let me chime in on that, Megan. I think my thing on that, because I went to a school where Caltrans wasn't heavily advertised. It wasn't, So I didn't really know about it. I always thought that your opportunities to join the state or join Caltrans were really, really limited. Like I have a degree in business administration. I never thought I would be able to join Caltrans. Then I got to Caltrans and I realized like I can go join DPAC and look at contracts because we have a contracts department. We have a lawyer, like a legal department,
Yep.
external affairs, internal affairs, Native American, like diversity. Like it's so there's so many departments within, or so many divisions within our department that it's kind of crazy. So it, and then the fact that we could transfer over to that department is kind of what's crazy for me. Like it, so just keeping an open mind that really the possibilities are close to endless
Absolutely.
with us is pretty intense. That's one thing that I would have loved to know because I would have joined the state a long time ago versus what 2.5 years ago.
So from a student standpoint, we're having some good questions about minimum qualifications for the transportation engineer series. Specifically, somebody said they're already a transportation planner. Would a EIT be enough for them to qualify for the transportation engineering position?
Janice, do you want to go or you want me to?
I want you
I don't know the exact qualifications aspects, but I believe that does get you in as a range A, but Russell, maybe you could confirm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the EIT would, as stated with the minimum qualifications, because if you have your bachelor's degree, you don't need the EIT because we have a bachelor's degree from an ABET accredited university. But with the EIT, we have seen quite a few people be able to make that jump. I've seen people with start at what we list as JET or junior engineer technician, or even a TET, which is transportation engineer technician. They don't, their degree or education level might be even lower, and they're able to obtain an EIT and start working their way up towards transportation engineers.
Absolutely. And I also dropped the minimum qualifications for our transportation engineer in the chat if anybody would like to look at that.
Cool. Megan, we probably have time for about 2 to 3 more, and then we'll get ready to wrap up.
Hey, Megan, can I jump in just real quick? I see a lot of questions related to electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And I just want to let you guys know that we do have a transportation engineer electrical classification as well. And it's the same type of aspect with just the transportation engineer. It starts in the range A, you move up, you get your license and so forth. And we do have a lot of opportunities for those types, the electrical engineers. We do our traffic management systems is all, the IT aspect of it, and so forth. So in our traffic operations program, we hire a lot of electrical engineers as well as the electrical design aspect of it, in our structures group and so forth. So, electrical design in terms of facilities and so forth. So there's really a broad range of opportunities for electrical engineers with Caltrans as well.
Have your degree in electrical engineering, but you're thinking of maybe you could fit in a civil engineering position. We have the written hurdle examination, which upon taking and passing, you would then qualify to apply to all of our transportation engineer civil positions. They might not be super electrical engineering, but again, with rotation programs and different job availability, you might be able to find something that's highly electrical within that classification as well.
Yeah. And that's the same thing for environmental engineering too. Don't sell yourself short. We have a lot of environmental engineers as well when it comes to whether it's our stormwater program or and I don't remember the exact names of some of these groups, but we do hire environmental engineers as well.
Yeah, and I'm seeing some questions regarding our junior engineering, our JET, and our tech opportunities. Russell, would you like to speak on those?
So the JET and TET are the pre-entry level, I guess you could say. It would be like the pre-entry level to the transportation engineering field. Some of them, I want to say it's JET off the top of my head, is a high school diploma. TET is 2 years or, an AA degree in with some background in like algebra and stuff like that, which would get you to qualify for the position. And you would then kind of, I guess you could say, similar to the rotation program, get some real hands-on work and start learning more and more about the transportation engineering field and like get that real hardcore in the field work done. And then eventually you go through the career path and you obtain like an EIT and do that, but you're gaining the experience and the hands-on experience that they would anticipate and expect from the upper education class. But I do know I met, I think, 2 or 3 people recently that have moved up within Caltrans that have gone through those positions. I can send minimum qualifications on both of those as well. Just go ahead and send us an email at askrecruitment at dot.ca.gov, and we will get you a little bit more information on the JET and TET classifications if you are interested in those.
Okay.
I got time for about 2 more, Megs, and then we'll go ahead and let everybody.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions kind of about out-of-state opportunities, and a lot of questions regarding the hybrid remote
Okay.
for positions and how that looks like with the state.
Janice, do you want to touch base on the on either one of those, or do you feel like I'm a little more?
Yeah, just related to the hybrid, it really depends on the hybrid remote aspect. It really depends on the position you're going to be put in. Some positions do require more, in the office, collaboration with the team and so forth. And some positions, it may not require as much. So it really depends on the position. But we do offer, telework opportunities. We are a hybrid department, so we don't require everybody to come in 5 days a week, but it really depends on the position you're coming into. It does require coming into the office, based on a business need and an operational need for each of the units that are hiring.
Like me, myself, well, Megan and I, because we're on the same team, we're in office once a week, but we're also traveling to different sites, different universities, and doing some community outreach as well, and kind of attending some other events through there. Now, addressing the out of state, unfortunately, since we are a state of California agency, we do require that you do have California residency. So we would require, now that's not to say you can't apply for a position and you would be disqualified. You can definitely apply for a position and you would qualify for it. Just at the time of hiring, when we offer that final job offer, we do require that you do have kind of that state, an address here within California's boundaries, because we are a state agency. I do know of a couple of people that in my 2.5 years that have made jumps. They've moved from relocated from Canada and relocated over from Nevada and stuff like that, where the opportunities were on the way. And depending on the situation, sometimes there can be relocation assistance. It just kind of depends, and that would be a question that would be addressed with the hiring unit after you've applied and you've kind of gone through the interview process. You can talk to the hiring unit and just ask, hey, is there an opportunity for relocation assistance? Worst thing that they can say is no. And at the end of the day, you still have an opportunity to make the decision if you want to accept the job or not. So don't think that, it automatically won't be offered, because it is a department-based decision, correct, Janice?
Yeah, the hiring unit kind of assesses that and makes decisions, I believe.
Cool. Megan, we'll go with one more and then.
Yeah. I have seen a couple questions about senior roles for transportation engineering.
Janice is perfect for that one.
Yeah, whether we hire for them and if they are difficult to get hired at.
Seniors meaning seniors in college? Is that what you're?
I believe it's like a senior transportation engineer.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, senior transportation engineer. That's kind of that next the next level up from the range A, B, C, and D. So we hire senior engineers that have more extensive background and experience. Typically, our senior engineers become a supervisor of a unit, so they'll have other engineers reporting to them. They're leading that group, leading them on projects, making assignments to those. But they also they're still doing, real good engineering work, meaning they're doing some of the quality, reviews and oversight of the work that they're leading and so forth. And again, those senior positions are across the state in any program because we need supervisors and so forth. And it really, it gives you that opportunity to really mentor your team as well, and get to share your knowledge and experience and with the teams that are trying to learn even more so.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily say they're difficult for the role or
Right.
to get it. Even if you're coming from the outside, I think what makes it difficult is that what people tend to forget about Caltrans in general is that we're a statewide agency. So the competition level is not just Sacramento or not just the Bay Area. You have everybody from the entire state willing to relocate into those cities and those counties. So that's what makes it a little bit more difficult, is that a lot of our positions tend to be really competitive. And with those senior levels and those higher level ups, there's just not as many of them in comparison to a transportation like a range D or a range C.
Yeah.
So the positions don't necessarily pop up as often, but it doesn't mean you don't have as great of a shot coming from the outside as somebody internal within Caltrans, because we are EEO, so we are equal employment opportunities. So we want to make sure that everybody has a fair shot at it throughout the application process, and we do our best to make sure that they're held to those standards and of giving everyone a fair shot.
Absolutely.
And the senior positions do require a professional license, professional engineer's license, but it does not require any advanced college education like a master's or a PhD or anything.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So with that being said, I just kind of wanted to go ahead and thank everyone for taking the time out of the day to meet with us. Megan is going to be capturing the chat right on over there, so that way if we do have any other questions that we saw, obviously we didn't have time to get to today, we'll do our best to go ahead and send out an answer sheet with addressing some of those questions. And we hope that you guys learned something new, and hopefully it sparked your interest in joining us with the DOT or California Department of Transportation. Again, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and reach out to us at the Ask Recruitments at dot.ca.gov email that Megan dropped in there earlier. And we hope that you guys have a good rest of your day.